Hello, welcome to Some of the World. Welcome to the new sawmill shed. Today I'm going to get to use it for the first time, finished, or nearly finished. We ain't got lights yet, you can't have everything. But another thing I discovered, by complete accident, never even thought about it. Because I was on gravel over there and stone, every time I had to set up, I had to check the level and the length, and it was always slightly moving. Put the level across this, well of course it ain't moved, it's not going to move. And then I got this Arctic birch, right, Arctic silver birch that we cut down at the end of winter. And there's 3 sections to it. And they've been sat on the log sled over there, and the log sled's in the way, and normally I put the log sled out the way, give it a coat of... Anyway, so I wanted to prick up all 3 pieces. Well, of course, before I couldn't put a log on the floor, like this one here. This is the base, because it had gravel in it. But now, of course, I've got a nice floor. I literally rolled it off the forks, put one on here, that's the top, rolled the base on the floor, and went back and got the middle section, ready to go. These are the 3 sections. I'm going to turn them into a cant first, and then I'm going to slab them into 2-inch slabs and stack for drying. The other thing that's quite new is this bin over here with this heavy duty plastic bag in there. That's because I want to save the birch dust in my bucket. Do you know, I was watching Matt from Diesel Creek. I don't know how many of you watch Matt from Diesel Creek, but I was watching him and he's got a new LT15. Where am I with that? No, I'm not going to comment on that. Anyway, of course, he's got all his sawdust pouring out the side onto the floor, and then he's going with a leaf blower and blowing it all over the fucking place. And I'm screaming at him to hang the bucket. In addition to that, he uses oodles and oodles of pig mats, which are just expensive. Sawdust is better than pig mats. And then you say, well, how are you going to dispose of it? Well, he's having a new big outside wood burner to heat the shop. Oil-soaked sawdust in the burner to heat the shop, to dry up the oil, the waste from the trees. I just think he's missing a trick. Should I have sent him a comment? If I'd been sat on the laptop, probably would have done, but I was watching it on the television. Anyway, there we go. We're just going to cut this up, slab this up, and then we're going to start on some of this other stuff over there and using the cans. The other thing is, because the sawmill was put in the old sawmill building, which was built for a different sawmill, and I never had any plastic and I was constantly bodging it up, you couldn't actually use it very well when it rained because it leaked. I'm sure you can hear that, it's raining. And obviously there's no leaks and I'm going to stay dry. Right, so, do I want to mention the tractor and the brakes? Because you're going to see this before you see the tractor and the brakes. What an arse of a job. So you'd think it's quite simple, yeah? And everything about it is relatively simple, I guess. Unless you happen to have a leak on a master cylinder. You don't even want to know where they put them and how long it takes to get to them and how difficult it is to get them out. Anyway, nightmare of a job. We're going to go cutting. This is only really applicable to my new subscribers, so they understand. Although it don't hurt to have a refresher. So here there's 3 main species of trees in the Arctic, and that's pine, fir, birch. Birch is the only source of hardwood I can get. So most of the birch goes for firewood. 95% of the birch goes for firewood. However, thanks to my Woodland Mills sawmill, as I'm opening up various types of birch, I've become aware I can spot a good birch from outside to give me what I want on the inside. And every now and again it's nice to just reaffirm that. So on the job that we did down the road, the big one, I probably took down 30 birch on that. I only kept one, this one, and I'll show you why. So we don't know what's in that. We don't know what's in this one yet, because that's the base. But this is what I got out of the middle section. And that's what I'm after. That's exactly what I'm after. So generally a healthy good birch is just white all the way through except the heart. You get a dark line up the heart. A birch that has had a disease, that is dying, that has had a traumatic experience earlier in life and continued to grow, you get this. And that's what I want. Some of that. Right, we put this bottom section on and see what that will reveal. Between 95 and 105 for that one. So again, because we're in an Arctic region, the trees only have 5 months of growing, 4 months of growing, so they grow slower. Now that does make for good timber, but sometimes it can make for very twisty timber. Yeah, trees grow slower, but the grain can be tighter. The other thing probably worth mentioning is when I stick the birch, I stick much closer and I don't use anything less than inch by inch. Sometimes in an ideal world you want to use 2 inch by 2 inch sticks and then compress the pack with much more weight on top. At 50mm this will need weight on top. To start with, we're just going to stick it in the first cant shelter on top of a stack of cants, and then I can put weight on it just because I want it elevated up. And I've left the open slats in the back so the wind can blow through. Just want it dried slowly. Don't want any sun on it. So this base bit's got quite a twist and a bend to it. I'm going to resist cutting it with the bend this way or the bend the other way, and I'm going to turn it through a quarter and try and cut it so that I take part of the bend and part of the twist out, then turn it 180 degrees and take part of the bend and part of the twist out. Peter Piper picked a pickle pecker. Pecker. There you go, so you can't do it. And then we're going to go from there, see if I can get it straight as I can. Also, it'll give me an indication, once I get this first top layer off, which way the boards are going to want to twist. And we want to avoid that. If I think the wider boards are going to twist a lot, cut them in half. So if they're 25 inches wide and you think they're going to split or cut or twist, then I'll cut them again and you know, do it at 12.5 inches, and then you've got 2 slabs. You lessen the amount of timber you're going to lose. The reason I'm cutting them as 2-inch slabs is so that I can plane them down to the right size and take any twist out that I need, and they will be for cabinet doors, worktops, anything I need hardwood for. Does that make sense? So that's in there temporarily, but you can say we got some good boards out of that. Okay, this is the next one after coffee. Now I'm looking forward to this one because like several of those other trees we cut down, this is one of the biggest willows I've found. I can only imagine how stunning the wood inside is going to be. We're in for a real treat with that one. So we got some damage on it down the other side. Look how clean I am in here. I know there's only one log, but amazing. We got some damage there. That's gonna, you know, give us some interesting features. But that's part of it. So we're gonna have coffee. Drag Casper out of the van, because that's where he is, have some coffee and come back and cut this up. The bad imperfections on the underside. So I've decided I'm going to cut the back first. And then I've lifted it by 2 inches at this end to take the wedge out. I'm going to run a cut through there. See how I feel about it. I'm probably going to cut a few times, so I can see how thick the bark is and when we're down to the timber and what kind of timber we got. And then I'm going to flip it over and then I'll turn it quarter and then I'll turn it 180 and we'll end up with a cant, I think. But let's cut it. Now with this I'm going to save the sawdust from this as well, but I don't want to mix it with the birch dust. Without wanting to bore anybody, why have I saved the birch dust there? Well, I've got half a sack, 50 litres of birch dust. I've got a lot of birch to work with. I've got a lot, and it cracks and moves and things, and you can use the birch dust as filler rather than buy an expensive filler. White, does it show up? Does it stain right? All these things are wrong. So the birch dust is good for so many different things. So I'll use it for filler. I'll dry the rest out and keep the rest because birch dust is good for starting fires. There's so many good uses for birch dust as opposed to pine dust, which is not really much good for anything. So I'll dry that lot out and keep that, but we'll keep this as well in case we decide to do any joinery work with this. We need to open it up and find out what it's like, and we'll keep a bit of the dust from this as well. I dry it out, I put it in jars, mark it up what it is, put it on the shelf. Keeps for years. So I can't say as I'm disappointed because I didn't really know what to expect. I was hoping to see more redwood in there, and there's a lot of rot in this section and a big split going down. See, I was hoping to see more of this colour in there, and there may well be in the heart, but I've got a couple of ideas. I'm just not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. So I think I'm going to leave it like that, and just, I've got several more like this. I think I'm just going to cant them up and leave them for a minute, whilst there's the possibility I could get bugs under the bark. Right, I'm not sure how resistant this is to bugs, or if it has any fungi in it, like the fir and the pine, they go blue if you leave the bark on them. You have to get the bark off, otherwise you just end up with a blue mess. I'm not sure what happens to this, and I know the grain's quite open, so it's quite light, and therefore it's best used in as large a pieces as you can. I've got a feeling if you was to, without a use, if you was to cut this quite thin, I think you would lose the integrity of the board. Not sure. It's an unknown with me, this one. Right, we'll probably cant some more of these up. That's what I'm after. Right. Okay, this one is showing much more signs of what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Now I can see how some of you might think, well, why is he cutting up something this small? I'm trying to expand the species of wood I've got in stock. That's what I'm trying to do. And it allows me to do something a bit more ornate. So that's why I'm cutting this up, albeit it's small, so that I've got it if I want it. It's like drawer fronts or inlays or something where you want something more than pine and birch. I've also got 2 aspen out there. Now 80% of all aspirin in this country goes for saunas, you know, for sauna seats. I shouldn't need to explain that, but I will. Aspirin doesn't have sap in the way that we know sap. When you cut a piece of wood and make benching for a sauna, all the sap comes out and it boils, and it'll burn you, and it'll stick to you. So you use aspirin, which hasn't got that, and you can put aspirin in a sauna and it won't extract any sap. It won't burn you, it stays cool. It's quite a unique timber really. I've got 2 small pieces over there I'm going to cut up. Although I have got aspirin in stock for sauna benching. Right, let's cut this one up. Now it's starting to rain. It's starting to rain harder. I knew it was going to rain today, but they were, shall we say, unsure of the percentage of participation we was actually going to receive. So it's been quite lighter than they said. And it's supposed to be like this tomorrow as well. So maybe we'll get a good way through that pile of logs tomorrow and get them skinned and stacked. How do I feel about the new sawmill building? Oh, I think you've all guessed by now. It was worth all the hard work. It was certainly worth the bad back it gave me nailing in the boards behind. So we've done quite well. I'm going to call the video there. It's been a few weeks since I've had my midweek video up. So this is my Wednesday video. Isn't it? It's my Wednesday video. Yep. And we're going to retreat to the inside. And I don't know if any of you noticed the smoke coming out the chimney over there. We've had the water on all day. I'm going to put a bit of heat through the radiators and do me editing and sit and relax for the evening. So we're going to call the video there. It's been a wet and nasty day, but we've utilised the great sawmill building. We'll catch you on the next one. That's goodbye from me and goodbye from him. Goodbye.